Devil into an Australian zoo unleashes havoc in an hour. Tonight, the Crocodile Hunter Diaries is after an emotional encounter with a bitter rival for Chris Eubank on Sports Life Stories.
You ask me anything you want.
What was the one greatest moment of your career?
Getting up from being knocked down in a fight I couldn't win.
Flavour, pizzazz.
He's such an unusual man, this Chris Eubank, he really is.
Just nuts.
Boxing is a mug's game.
Chris Eubank has done nothing for the sport of boxing.
What's the one lesson boxing taught you?
To be calm, gentle and true.
I personally do hate him.
We were just talking about you, man.
There was never a harder, braver man.
Going all the way means that I wanted to give my life. That is the fact.
Christopher Livingston Eubank.
Me being the way I am, I'm sure you'll be pleased with what you see.
Taxi. Old Park Lane, please.
What or who has been the biggest influence on your career?
Let's see. The critics. The people who said I couldn't.
It takes a bit of time to appreciate Chris Eubank.
I was at the Albert Hall covering a night's boxing, and this young man came up to me and he said, "My name's Chris Eubank. When are you going to start writing about me?" And I said, "Well, Chris, when you've done something worth writing about, I will write about you." I didn't realise I was going to spend 20 years not stopping writing about it.
When the general punter comes up to you in the street, what does he want to talk about?
Generally, the Ben won. A vicious contest, and it was real. Yeah.
Ben is shaken. This will be the finish of the belt. It's all over in the ninth round.
The new middleweight champion of the world, Chris Eubank.
I doted on my mother. She made a huge impression on my being, on my spirit, on my mindset. I don't even want to say H-E-R-O because it's not enough.
You were 8 when your mother left to go to the United States. What impact did that have on you?
The clearest truth I can tell you is that there's one less person to hide from when I want to be naughty.
Jamaican family, poor area. His dad worked at Ford's, but tough upbringing. He was constantly in trouble and referred to various kids' homes and stuff like that.
I was never a bad boy. I was a rude boy. The Londoners call it a fly-by-night, a wannabe, a Bengo lancer, a chancer.
He was going out with gangs and shoplifting, and he wanted things he couldn't get. He didn't have money, so he went and stole them.
I was born to love, only the environment was mean-spirited and it was unkind. You have to toughen up. You have to get some teeth. And if you don't, move to the side and hide.
At 14, you were living on the streets in Peckham. How did you survive?
I had to find a place to sleep. Sometimes it was the back of a car. It is what gives you fortitude. It toughens you up. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've used it to get through the minefield of life.
He grew up as a teenager in the streets of the Bronx. And if anybody has been to the South Bronx, it makes our so-called slums look like luxury living.
My father said, you go and live with your mother, otherwise you're going to end up going to prison in this country. It's the best thing that happened for me because I was able to get away from influence and started boxing.
And what sort of guy walked through the doors of the Jerome Boxing Club in the South Bronx, age 16?
Very clear thinking, very knowing, very sure of himself.
He learned to box in America, not here. And he has several fights in places like Atlantic City. So when he came over here, he could handle himself.
Time.
He came into my gym in 1988.
Last 10.
And he said to me that he would give me a trial. The rest is history. He got on well, you know.
Ronnie is my friend. He has been my guardian angel. He really has. And so much so, he's now my son's guardian angel. Place the 8 either here or here. Or mix them up, but place it. Just for the funk of it.
On the downs above Brighton, Peter Eubanks is in full training with his closest companion, his twin brother Simon, himself a boxer.
How would you describe your relationship with your 3 elder brothers?
It is what defined me. You know, I was fighting for respect. It wasn't money I was fighting for.
Hardship is all part of the boxing discipline, but these conditions take some beating.
Strange. They are the 3 who made me define myself as a man, as a person.
Eubank's whole life has been about getting respect, not just from them, from society.
This is about learning, yeah?
Trainers can't even talk to me about boxing. What they have to teach me, I don't listen to.
Aren't you going to put people's backs up with that sort of attitude?
Yes.
People said, no one had a style like you. I was far ahead of my time in terms of movement. That actually put me in a different league. It was illuminating, and it was effective.
From Brighton, please welcome Chris Eubank.
I was watching his career slowly, as you do with, you know, undefeated fighters.
Chris Eubanks, bit of a character by the look of him.
I actually watched the Anthony Logan fight. I thought it was a tough fight to take at that stage of his career.
He was a world-ranked fighter. I was still a novice. But I knew I could beat him.
Good performance by Eubanks. I mean, he looked as though he might be a bit out of his class.
And I thought, oh, you know, there's one to watch.
And there it is.
The street teaches you to step forward, you know, throw your hat into that ring.
What did the young Chris Eubank have as a boxer?
Arrogance and a great belief in his own ability.
His opening words to me were, Mr. Hearn, I'm a fighter, and I know my value. We clicked on day one. All I saw was X Factor, stardust. His swagger, his self-confidence. I didn't even know if he could fight. It didn't really seem to matter.
Seconds out.
I knew I had something I could build.
When it's fight time, Hyde comes out, and he is strange, he's eccentric.
The first punch he throws.
Mr. Jackal here, I can't do anything to help that.
Oh, that's amazing. And Dos Santos does not know whether it is Brazil or Birmingham.
I am the man, and I will continue to be the man for as long as I am undefeated. I am the man. You know I can take your boy. You're petrified, and I know you are. Your boy's mine. It's done.
I
I have to think about the Selfridge name, and I don't want anything to bring that into disrepute.
Are you talking about the store or your wife? If you love her, trust her.
Trust me.
That's the problem, Loxley. I never have.
What's going on with us?
There is no us.
They can't just swan back into the store and expect his job back.
Looks like he just has.
Mr. Selfridge, Sundays at 9 on ITV.
The National Television Awards are coming to ITV, and this year, they're bigger than ever. Join me, Dermot O'Leary, for a night of glamour as we celebrate the very best of British television.
And the National Television Award goes to...
Expect a night of tension, triumph and possibly tears. Plus some huge surprises you don't want to miss. There's nothing bigger than an NTA. OK, guys, you made the point. Someone help me out with this now? The National Television Awards, Wednesday at 7:30 on ITV. Anyone at all?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Relatively early in your professional career, you said something that upset the boxing world.
Yeah.
It was?
Boxing is a mug's game. I don't like what this business has to offer, what it does to people out there.
Well, he used to condemn it completely from beginning to end.
I will not promote boxing. It is barbaric. This is 1 and 1 makes 2. This is plain fact.
Well, I said if it's a mug's game, you must be one of the biggest mugs in it.
I used to be honest, but now I'm getting used to boxing.
Eubank didn't like the system. In the early days of sport, the promoters, the TV executives had all the power. The power has shifted. Eubank was the beginning of that power shifting.
Chris, why do you think this fight will live up to its hype?
What hype?
Because this is a mug's game. I'm not playing your rules. This is my rules.
You know, I'm doing the work, taking and absorbing copious amounts of pressure and pain. So when you say biting the hand that feeds you, I am the person doing the work. Without the fighter, there is no game. What you have here is a combatant intellectual boxer against the shallow-minded puncher.
Yeah! Another showdown that's gripped British boxing. Nigel Benn laying his title on the line against Chris Eubank after a build-up, even by boxing standards, of remarkably bitter mockery and vindictive taunts.
He went out there, he'd done a job on a guy. Who was it? Another Sanchez, Gomez, Lopez. Who was it? Another road sweeper?
Nigel probably beat 80% of his opponents long before he got into the ring on intimidation.
Now I'm with the big boys. I'm there. I'm there already. He's got to prove himself, not me.
Ben had a way of distracting you and bringing you into a personal battle. It isn't personal. It's always objective.
Why won't you face him tonight?
I'll face the man in the ring.
You didn't look at Nigel Benn. The reason?
Because he probably would have hit me. The man is a powerful puncher. For this, I would like his autograph, because after I've finished with him, he isn't going to be anybody.
Eubank was very dismissive and condescending. It was cruel, because verbally there was no match, but it was all part of the plan.
Well, let's make sure the fight takes place by signing the contract right now. Christopher?
What won me that particular battle is that when he would have walked out of the studio, he would have felt a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that he has stated a personal feeling. I don't hate the man. I just want his WBO title.
I personally do hate him. I personally do hate him.
Now, if Nigel had won those psychological fights, it would have given him the benefit of being able to persist just that little bit longer. And it's that little bit longer that makes you champion.
It really is a very special occasion here at the NEC, and is he bluffing or is he the real thing?
Everything was on the line at the NEC that night. 1990 was a very tough year for Matchroom Sport. That was the defining moment, not just for you.
The pace was ferocious.
Eubank trying to pull away from punches, Reg, and that's very dangerous for a man like this.
A lot of people thought as soon as he starts getting hurt, he will pack it in.
Oh, that was the shot, Reg. Well, Eubank can take a shot. That was the one.
Ben had the bigger punch, split his tongue down the middle in the 4th round.
It chopped a half-inch gash.
And that was a lovely uppercut shot.
The pain was excruciating, but it's also secondary because there's something more important than that.
Oh, 2 good shots. Well, then take those, Reg.
Stamping my name on the Warriors ladder.
All right, he took a count in round 8, but really, I always felt he was comfortably in control.
A little bit of a slip. He's arguing with the referee. It was a slip.
You know, hold on. Hey, no, you got that wrong. No, hey. I'm okay. As soon as he asks, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Let me fight. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, what a shot that is.
Really shaking. The bench shaking, Reg.
Oh, right to his bootskin.
Eubank that night became the fighter he said he was.
Ben is shaken.
He showed how courageous he was and the will to win.
Exoneration. That's right. I had won. I had won. I had won what I wanted from my brothers.
Peter, Eubank, I've done it. He said I couldn't do it. I've done it, man.
You cannot deny me that now. That's the World Boxing Organization title. I am the man.
Were you a boxer or a showman?
I was both. My job isn't just to fight. A fight is a show. That's entertainment.
The showman was part of him saying to the world, I'm actually something that you didn't expect. I can quote Shakespeare.
The world is a stage, and we are all actors.
Some are actors more than others.
Here I am.
Some people say all this is over the top. It is literally there. But I think, quite honestly, the punters expected.
Eubank was a leader, not a follower. Shall I come on the motorcycle today, Bazza, or would you prefer me in the truck?
Oh, yeah! I really like the boots and waistcoat and the countrified tie, and it makes me feel royal, you know, it makes me feel good.
Jodhpurs, it's just fashion. The monocle, that affectation, is the icing on the cake. And it's confused because I'm doing something which looks Caucasian or Old English, and yes, I am a person of this particular color, but that's why it was so much fun.
The strainer look is actually to strengthen the eye.
I am, at this point, trailblazing. I'm really in unknown territory. I'm really leading the way. I'm really the beacon.
How's that look? You like that?
He's not normal. He wasn't normal. He never intended to be normal.
Thank you. On my right-hand side, the challenger, nicknamed the Force, the People's Choice, Michael Watson.
He's simply an object of which I must get past to better my life, my standard of living.
Chris Eubank has done nothing for the sport of boxing. All he's done is condemn the sport. And when I get him out of the system, I'm sure it'd be a relief to the general public.
We had both beaten Ben. I was the villain.
He struts and he poses, and he made a lot of enemies in the fight game.
I only say that I am the better fighter.
The way you've conducted yourself in and out of the ring, you haven't received any respect from me, I'm afraid to say.
Eubank would say terrible things to Ben, like, you know, when this is all over, we both know that you'll end up on a nightclub door as a bouncer. Now, that would work with Ben. Nothing would get under Michael's skin. And that really upset Chris.
As you can see, I'm fired up for this fight. Let me just say, best man wins on the night, and that's all I've got to say. You come in.
I have nothing to say.
Good.
Chris Eubank must be the most unpopular world champion in the history of British boxing. I feel sure many of you are joining us live on ITV tonight, hoping to see him lose his world title.
Could have gone either way, and most people thought it should have gone Watson's way.
Good counter-puncher, Eubank. A good left hook that was, Jim, wasn't it? Sharp one.
He didn't do enough. I won the first 6 rounds. Boxing is not a personality thing. We like this guy more, and so we want to give it to him.
I think Watson has turned the fight in his favour. Eubank's lost all control, all composure, real under pressure here.
The feeling is, we don't like Eubank, we like Watson, and that influences the mind. It doesn't influence the mind of overseas judges coming in who don't know the personalities behind. They just score what they see.
The winner, and still the WBO champion of the world, Chris Eubank!
I really did think Watson would.
Yeah, Watson won the fight in the eyes.
Chris, I have to say that was a very controversial decision.
Controversial, yeah. I fought like a dog and I deserved the win. So I know I won that fight, regardless of what anyone has to say.
I remember the first time I went for a meal with my best friend Lizzie. We were at this little Italian place on the high street. After we'd finished eating, Lizzie said, "It's on me for being such a good friend of mine." Well, it felt brilliant. Just like when Lloyd's Bank paid me back for some jeans I'd bought on my card, and they said, "It's on us," as a little thank you. They offer thousands of people the chance to get this every month, on top of the cashback you can get when you buy some of your everyday stuff. They're just small acts of kindness, and I know that's something Lizzie's gonna love.
Objective of this mission is capturing Mod Shop. You see this? Do it. That's an army.
Let's move! Let's really move!
Can you fight?
I can fight.
Lone Survivor in cinemas January 31st.
Can you guess which dishwasher tablet has been chosen by millions of households to help solve even the toughest grease cleaning challenges? And has been rated the most effective dishwasher detergent by which in 2010, and 2011, and 2012, and now in 2013? It's Fairy Platinum. Try it for yourself today.
Feeling a bit woolly-headed? Mucus makes the congestion worse. Try Sudafed Mucus Relief Tablets. They ease the swelling in your nasal passages and help to reduce the amount of mucus you produce. For a clearer head, try Sudafed. And for relief, whatever the hour, they're Sudafed Mucus Relief Day and Night Capsules.
Space for 7. Top Gear Magazine's Family Car of the Year. The new Citroën Grand C4 Picasso.
Citroën, créative technologie.
In life,
You cannot always choose what you do, but you can always choose who you are. We are the Sappers. With every brace and every cufflink, we say, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
With the powerful new Dyson Digital Motor V6 spinning at 110,000 RPM, two-tier radial cyclones, and the latest motorised cleaner head with carbon fibre filaments for fine dust, the new Dyson Digital Slim Vacuum sucks up as much dust as even a corded vacuum. Not bad for a lightweight.
The search has begun. This is your chance to show Britain and the world your talent.
Attraction!
Well, what are you waiting for? You've still got time to be part of one of the biggest shows on television.
We're holding a one-off open day on January the 25th in London. For full details, go to itv.com/talent.
What was the one greatest moment of your career?
Getting up from being knocked down in a fight I couldn't win.
A football ground fight in September. And a lot of money for everybody.
11 stone, 13 pounds.
The whole country fueled the rematch.
If Frank Bruno is Britain's most popular fighter, Chris Eubank is the most hated. Even by boxing's overinflated standards, his career has been built on controversy.
You're pitiful. You lost the fight, right?
You're kidding yourself.
You think so?
Yes, I know so.
I'm very pleased to
You're
be
a
involved in this
complete
fight.
and utter idiot, that's what you are.
Thank you. Thank
no,
you.
I'm done with this press conference, man.
Thank you.
No,
Right.
Baz, let me go because I'm just going to get off and wet the gears.
No, no, no.
Really?
Robin, take me home, man.
Bye-bye, Chris.
The devil came knocking on my door last time out, and this time I'm going to tell him to go away, you know? There'll be no controversy this time.
I'm looking for war. Now, my intention is to go there and to destroy.
Michael had gone away and learnt. He came up with a game plan and he was demented to an extent that he was definitely going to win.
This was a great fight. It was a great fight.
Electric atmosphere. Incredible.
It was all Watson. And he did a job on Chris. Battered him. Battered him.
This must demoralise Eubank.
He was superhuman. You know, I had fear for what was coming in about a second and a half, because he punched with these clusters of punches which finished with this right or left hook over the top, which was hitting me here. Stay there and take it. This is the bed you've made. This is the bed you sleep in.
He's on the receiving end again and in trouble!
He was outworked, he was outpunched, he was outthought, he was outfought in every department.
This is a truly great fight, Reg. This fight is everything. Come on, man!
Seconds up, round 11.
One of the most dramatic rounds we've seen in the British ring.
He really is vulnerable.
Eubank's looks on the verge of being stopped.
Oh, he's got him down now. That's the first clean knockdown he's had in his career.
And when I talk about getting up when I couldn't, it wasn't to win, it's to act. What did you do in your moment of crisis? Who are you? That's when you're bare. Once my knee touched the canvas, it was like I was okay. The concussion had gone. I got up and I spat. And I remember the audience hovering. It was my peripheral vision and my perception that were hovering for my demise. I walked forward and and I threw a shot.
Back he comes. I don't believe this. Watson is gone. He's
out
lucky.
completely, dear.
There's the bell.
You know, the truth was in me.
And he looks rocky on the legs there, Watson.
Hasn't recovered, Reg. Watson hasn't recovered. His legs don't look right.
3 minutes to go. Can he hang on now?
I defy any person to find 5 or 6 other fights like it in the history of boxing.
He's going to dive in, and he stopped it in the last round.
He was beaten. Everybody thought he was beaten, and yet he won.
When I caught him, I knew that was it. Let me thank my brother Simon for taking me running, and let me thank the Men's Association of Great Britain for awarding me the Best Man award in Britain.
We're just seeing that Watson has collapsed in his corner, and that is really sad news. And that's a shame, because here tonight we have had a fight to remember for a very long time.
The fight had everything.
Medical reasons, will you please now clear the ring and let's have a bit of order and a bit of sanity, please.
Michael has undergone some emergency surgical treatment to the head.
Michael Watson needs 24-hour care at his home in Essex.
The British Boxing Board of Control had failed to provide care in the vital minutes after the fight.
The High Court agreed he was entitled to damages from the board.
£1 million compensation.
Chrissy.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Kim, bro.
I'm good, man. You right?
Praise the Lord. Back together again, eh?
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
I blame myself because it was me who delivered the punch.
Do you still feel that way?
If anyone out there is going to say that I'm not to blame, then they're to say that the system is to blame for legalizing such a blood business.
You can talk about ambulances and not having all of these safeguards in place. Nevertheless, 1 and 1 makes 2.
But you wouldn't like to see boxing banned, would you, surely?
You can't ban boxing, just like you cannot ban prostitution. It's an addiction. People are going to do it anyway. No, you can't ban it. It just shouldn't be here.
Everybody involved in boxing that night is to blame. The Boxing Board Control weren't good enough, as was subsequently proved. The promoter who put the fight on, me, must take some of the blame. Eubank, because he's involved. Michael himself, because he participated willingly in this contest. But the greatness of Michael Watson is the man he's become. He believes that was just fate.
I feel no different towards Chris. Love Chris like a brother. It was just an accident. We wouldn't have done it intentionally. You know, it's not Chris's fault.
I'll see you soon, yeah?
What's up, brother?
I'll see you soon.
Keep smiling.
Okay, all right then, I will do. I've made a decision to fight on simply because I have to make a living.
How did the Watson fight change you as a boxer?
That night destroyed Eubank as a fighter. 10% never, ever came back. And I don't think that it was because Eubank was worried about hurting someone else. I think it was because there was a concern it could happen to him.
As a boxer, I lost my instinct to finish.
The winner,
It doesn't matter how you get the job done, so long as you do.
What do you think about your performance in the last 2 fights?
I get the job done.
He never, ever pushed the button from that day on to actually go out and stop a fight.
I'm not going to encourage no child out there to become a fighter. That's something I wouldn't do because this game is too hard.
Because you've got a young lad of your own, haven't you?
Sure. I would say to any young man out there, go to school and endeavour to stay there because that's what makes a man.
What did you think when your son, Chris Jr., said, I want to be a professional boxer?
Well, after 8 years, I said, well, OK. The fact that you've kind of been brought up within these four walls here and you've been protected, I don't think you're going to be hard enough.
I just want to try it. I just want to see what it's about. If my dad can do it, why can't I do it? No.
OK, come on. It'll be one to watch. But I so hope it's not in boxing.
My ultimate goal is to become a world champion middleweight fighter.
You will be asked, who are you? Do you have the grit? It's a relentlessness, and he has that.
Nice.
The best thing about Eubank was I couldn't guarantee how good the fight was. What I could guarantee was the entrance was going to be unbelievable. The hairs would be on the back of your neck, the song would be played, and then it was over to Chris.
Chris Eubank!
At the end of the evening, I usually won on points in terms of entertainment value, but he was still undefeated and the show rolled on.
You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone.
Did you like fame?
No.
Why?
Because I loved it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Chris Eubank.
Hey, guy.
What's your one biggest weakness?
Possibly that I do not abide by the philosophy that less is more. How much is that?
127.
Have those things, the material things, got in the way of people knowing you?
No. Whatever your affectations in terms of philosophy or dress sense, if you can fight, it'll be taken on board.
Chris, don't.
If you can fight. If you can't fight, get out.
He was good for the business. He helped us fill page after page of the newspaper. And I wish we had another one today.
I love being a mum. I've never done it before. He's amazing, he's a super baby. I've got so many things to do at the same time, and you know, obviously, being a working mum, you have to make sure you know where your money's going. So if you do need to go out and get that dress that you're not meant to be buying, because my husband doesn't know, I can do it all on my phone without going into my overdraft. I can check my money wherever I am.
Make Barclays your bank.
You the manager?
Yes, hello.
Hi. When I'm on the internet, this keeps happening.
It seems like you're downloading too much data. In future, try this.
My face.
Is there anything smaller you could watch?
I don't want smaller, I want bigger. I want helicopters shot down by police cars. People on the verge of mass destruction, saving people's lives on a daily basis. Does that sound small to you?
You could try Sky Broadband. It's totally unlimited. As am I.
Come on.
Demand more from your broadband. Switch now and get 12 months half price, totally unlimited Sky Broadband. Sky. Believe in better.
Hi there, my hearties. I'm confused.com.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Hello, sailor. I see you've used confused.com before, so I'd like to tell you about Quick Quote. Simply download the app, then enter your number plate and email address for a cheap car insurance quote in no time. Pretty sick, huh? Confused.com. Nice headlights.
How can a car's design make driving feel like this?
Start by making it lighter. Reduce the size of the wheel. Raise the instruments to help keep your eyes on the road. And declutter to make the surface of the road feel as close as possible to the hair on your skin. Voila. New Peugeot 308. Driving sensations.
Drip it. Drizzle it. Dash it. Baste it. Splish it. Splash it. Shake it. Dip it. Squiggle it. Jiggle it. Fry it. Roast it. Mash it. Naturally brewed for over 300 years. Cook it up with Kikkoman soy sauce. And try our teriyaki sauce.
Millions of workers like us are already benefiting from being involved in the workplace pension. Because when we pay in...
Our boss pays in too.
I'm in.
On in! Workplace pension.
We're all in.
We're all in!
If you have a household problem, no matter if it's big or small, you should call the British Gas Team. Whether you need a plumber, an electrician, a drains expert, or a boiler engineer, you can count on the British Gas Team to look after your world.
The FA Cup 4th round weekend, live and free, starts with AFC Bournemouth versus Liverpool, Saturday at 12:15 on ITV.
You have to have it. You have to be able to actually switch it on. You can't be a one-hit wonder.
Of course, you know what everyone wants, don't you? A rematch with Nigel Benn. Under the headline, Unfinished Business.
Come and fight me. Give the public what they want to see.
What happened to Michael, I don't want it to happen to you even more so than me. Because if you are lying there dead after the fight, I'm the one who has to live with that. Please compromise your...
I'll compromise. I'll go and do what you do. Fight anyone. That's what I'll do.
These two amazing personalities, so different. The contrasts were so clear.
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue.
Anyway, we ain't going to say it. See you later on.
My job was to light the fuse and then stand back because it wasn't too safe to stand close.
Come on! Well done, you've got it! Nigel, just behind our cameraman there is Chris Eubank, who's come to watch you tonight. Oh, this is great. Well done.
Now we can do business. Now we can do business. You hear me?
Yeah, now we can do business. Okay. Chris, are we going to get this fight on?
Nigel is accepted. I accept. I mean, let's do it. Yeah. I mean, I'm here. I'm ready.
So we got something super sensational for the UK. It's a great event for Manchester. Top of the night. Be there.
It is time for Judgment Day.
500 million people watched this fight. You could say that there was still a psychological game going on. I had him where I wanted him. That's what I thought.
Oh, good right hand punch there. He's hurt Eubank.
Ben was on his game for the second fight. He was on his game.
Good right hand again from Bill.
Could not pin him down. Hitting everything but him. I hit the oxygen, but not him.
Loves to tear up Nigel Benn now. That suits him. Low punch there. 1 point taken off. Now that's a blow for Ben.
Biggest round in your boxing career.
You've got to win this. Come on. Eubank must realise he has all to do in the last couple of rounds.
I think they both knew so much about each other by then. One plan, neutered out another brand.
There it is, all over.
I've never seen such a tight fight. I'm going to go for the draw.
114 to 114. The decision.
Yes, it's a draw.
I refer to the fight as divine intervention if I've ever seen it in my life. Even though he hit me low and lost a point, he still did enough to win the fight. Absolutely. And a fighter knows.
The one frustration was we never got to see the third fight with Ben. Man, I would have loved to have seen that fight. And we were robbed of it.
In our heyday, we were live wires, we ain't lying down. We're fighting. You hit me, you're getting hit back harder. And you see all the stars there is, we're all turning up because you know what? It's going to be a good night. They loved all this. They think, wow, I've got to watch this. We wanted to entertain the public, and that's what it's all about. Oh, look at. We were just talking about you, man. Give me a hug, man. Oh. You had your image, I had mine, and we worked the crowd.
Perfectly.
We brought England together. 18 million, 47,000 watching us. He had his image. He had that Simply the Best, the Dark Destroyer, so we both worked it. It's good seeing you, man.
Yeah, without you, I couldn't have been who I was.
And without you, I couldn't be who I was. Feel like Raw. His hand is still strong. He won't lose that, will you?
Eubank's 20th World Championship fight tonight. No other British boxer in history can match that.
If you could do one thing managing Chris Eubank's career again, what would it be?
I would have tried to make sure that mentally he coped better with Steve Collins. Steve Collins completely screwed his head up.
Now look at Steve Collins, shutting his mind off for the entire episode. What a picture that is.
When it came out about I've been hypnotised not to feel pain, I said, Chris, you can't hypnotise a chin.
Eubank goes onto the floor, only the 4th time in his career.
I can't see how I lost that fight.
9 minutes remaining for Chris Eubank to salvage his WBO Super Middleweight Championship.
What if the champion actually drops him in the 2nd? And again in the 10th?
The right hand's got Collins!
Effectively, I can't lose the fight.
Never doubt this man's championship spirit.
Collins going down in the 10th and Eubank just looking at him, and I'm like, finish the job.
Collins must somehow get through this round.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and the new.
Collins has won it! Eubank is beaten for the first time ever.
There was a release. There really was. You guys were saying that, no, I'm superhuman. I'm not, I'm just a guy.
The Collins fight just screwed everything. Everything.
Ten years after his professional debut, the strutting, self-proclaimed intellectual dandy of the sport has decided enough's enough.
I've decided to retire at almost the pinnacle of my career.
Come on, boy.
Sportsmen have to adjust once they retire. How have you found life after boxing?
Former boxer Chris Eubank is released on police bail after his bizarre one-man protest against the war in Iraq.
The answer is really just to say to you, you cannot be weak if you're going to stand up and say, hey, that is not right.
Military occupation causes terrorism, and it's only a matter of time before it's on our doorstep here in the United Kingdom.
73% were telling the government the same thing, only I did it a little bit differently with my truck.
The former boxer's protest backfired when he reversed into a delivery van.
He's gone bankrupt. I mean, he earned a huge amount of money, but that's life. Eubank will always do everything his way.
The philosophy I have is you've got to do your winning, you have to have done your losing. The man sees whether you can take a beating. When you're on top, you're okay. How are you when you're not on top? That says whether you cut the mustard. Yeah.
Presenting the #1 ranked WBO super middleweight in the world, Joe
Second down, round 1.
I remember getting up thinking to myself, right, I'm going to get it kicked out of me now for the next 10 rounds, but in the 11th and 12th round, I will be knocking on your door again, sir. And I did. And he stood strong.
Eubank's comeback has ended in failure, but glorious failure.
You used to love to hate him, but now you love to love him. Chris Eubank.
Eubank became extremely popular after he'd been beaten by Joe Calzaghe. And after those 2 fights with Carl Thompson, 2 terrible hidings, they loved him.
This was in 1998. In 91, didn't I show this heart? But you only recognized it when I actually lost. Strange, but wonderful.
Been stopped for the first time in his career after 13 years and 52 fights. That might be the last we see of him.
I said, give me one more round at least. He wouldn't. Why? Well, let's say that's boxing.
Win some, you lose some.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Eubank!
Have you been given the full credit you deserve for what you achieved?
Yes. Yes. I realize that every day.
Very good to see you, man. One of my idols.
When people, they hold you and shake you. And they thank you. That's my honor. That's why 500 million people watched the second fight I had with Nigel Benn. I was being a warrior. That's what people came to see. Even when they were against me, I was entertaining them.
We left something. He left his joppers, his monocle and his Harley. He left something.
My dear colleague, Reg Guttridge, summed him up in a sentence when he did the leap over the rope. Reggie said,
"The ego has landed."
Summed him up beautifully.
Doesn't everybody want to leave their mark?
You said in 1990 it takes some time to appreciate Chris Eubank. How long did it take boxing to appreciate him?
In many ways, boxing will never appreciate Chris Eubank. But the kids that are boxing today, that go on to be champions, without even knowing it, are the beneficiary of how the boxer is in control. And that's down to Christopher Livingston Eubank.
It reminds me of a story that goes a little like this. It says, it isn't the critic who counts, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, the one who strives valiantly, and who, at the worst, if he should fail, at least he fails while daring greatly. so that his place shall never be with those cold or timid souls who know neither defeat nor victory. All with an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I've got to get to the fight.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. For you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do.
For everything friends do for each other, return the favour. Friends don't let friends smoke. Give them an Enjoy King electronic cigarette, made to satisfy.
At Holland & Barrett, it's the Good Life penny sale. So what better time to pop in for your Good Life MOT? Holland & Barrett, penny sale now on.
Make this complete Essentially Magnet kitchen yours for £3,450 in the half-price sale. Bring in your measurements for an instant quote.
I'm James Reed, and you should be a management consultant.
Cool.
I love Mondays.
Ooh, me too.
There's over £5 million in jackpots. Plus, get £20 risk-free. Download the app or go to williamhill.com/Vegas.
In life, you cannot always choose what you do, but you can always choose who you are. We are the Sappers. With every brace and every cufflink, we say, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
If your car is written off, at Direct Line we don't just offer you a cheque. We could also source a replacement for you. And you can even upgrade by paying the difference. Plus, if you get a quote from us 10 days or more before your policy start date, you'll get 20% off. It's good to deal direct, so take the Direct Line.
It's not good news for Kenneth when one of his regulars falls asleep under the dryer at Blow & Go on Thursday night. We're off to Benidorm at 9. Now they've got their hands full in the Crocodile Hunter Diaries.